we had 4 emails yesterday or on Monday, right after the webinar we did, just saying, hey, can you remind me again, where do I go to Google Places, and asking a few questions on here. It's asking for a PIN number and all that kind of stuff. This is the simple one that puts you local, your local business, with a description about what you are and what you do, your phone number, your address, and you show up on things like that. Google likes people to be listed on Google Places. Often you'll be listed, sometimes Google Places is listed before any of the other search results. So having your agency on there when a lot of people might not be doing that is a really good idea. It is an example of a local directory. Yahoo Local, Google Places, YP.com, Bing, all these directories, each of them require some steps. Each of them required to go get filled out. So let's look at this as an example. If you get some brownie points from Mr. Google by doing certain steps, the more you do, the more brownie points or gold stars you get. All these things help your internet presence. So listing yourself, and Tim, by the way, ironically used him as the example at LaCasio Hen & Dentist. He was our first email saying, hey, I'm finishing up setting up Google Places. We set up their analytics, so we need to give them a pin for that. Do that, you get 1 great star, great start. Market Schwindeman, maybe he goes in there and hits, hey, there's 5 directories. I'm going to get listed on all of those sites. A lot of improvement. You're getting noticed by Google 5, 6 different times. Your description's the same. You're consistently being added to all 5 in the same manner. So that means you're consistent. Your message, you're found more common. If you're writing a description every time you go to these places, it's naturally going to be different. The words and keywords you actually write always end up being a little bit different. That's why when we work with folks, we have a pre-SEO sheet that we decide the description and the category so we can use it everywhere. Doing it 4 or 5 times, even better start. Now, an SEO heavy firm or getting a consultant or a partner doing that, they're going to go to 40, 50 different directory listings. They're going to be added on Facebook. They're going to make sure their LinkedIn page also is set up and linked together and has that same description. They got a blog, and they sent a press release out talking about themselves and the same content. That is trying to illustrate the manner in that each of those baby steps, the behind the scenes work when it comes to SEO, is all the things that means you get found more often. You get the attention, you get noticed by Google far more often, and increases your Google score. Now, the thing about SEO is it's correct, consistent description, all that. There's no way around it. It's data entry, heavy. All right. The reason most people don't even attempt to do this by themselves is because it's data entry. It's time consuming. You basically need to go to all these. First, you got to find them. We have a list of 50 plus directories we work with regularly and that we enact when we help a firm out. Finding these things are tough. Having them change, and each one of them you have to log in, register, usually have to get a confirmation email sent and approved. We've all seen that stuff these days. And then you got to go and fill out forms and pull downs. And, it's data entry. It takes time to get through those, but there's huge benefits to doing that. And the good part is, big bulk SEO takes months. Every SEO person says, hey, don't look for immediate results. It's a 3 to 6 months adding you to all these things, waiting for Google to notice it and give you the brownie points and getting your tags and all that good stuff. It takes some time, but it's very, very worth it. You'll find a lot of benefit from that. You'll get calls, you'll get emails, you'll get name recognition far more than anything else. So again, big baby steps, but there's great big results if you go through those. So that's kind of a high level in SEO. Why you do it, again, it's so the purpose of SEO is to be found in so many places so you get listed more commonly on the pages when people actually search for it. It also benefits your website, and all the behind the scenes clicks and all that work has great benefit and great purpose. And again, that's a more of a long-term strategy. Once you get through a good 6-8 months of being added to those things, you start getting benefits to it. And you don't have to worry about being taken off a directory. So it's really good to go through that. Okay, last but not least is social media. And we do actually purposely put this last because we kind of felt like this is the flow that we suggest to folks. when they have a site or a new site or a commitment to going forward with this stuff. Only because all those things drive each other together. Now, the SEO and social media, of course, can be flip-flopped a little bit of both. Of course, having a combination of both is probably preferred, so you're hitting all cylinders under their internet marketing umbrella. But we're using this last just to talk about that a little bit more. We're only going to talk mainly about LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Really mostly about LinkedIn and Facebook. Twitter is another great tool. Most of the people say, I barely understand what Twitter is. I really don't get how this stuff works. But what we're going to do is talk about these and give you, again, a purpose behind this. Big purpose on this, if nothing else, when you have LinkedIn, Facebook, or any of these social medias clearly visible on your website, on your cards, on some of your marketing material, at first, similar to way back when we talked about your website, have an instant recognition, have an instant impression on a visitor saying, hey, they are up to date. They have invested in social media. We are a small company, or we're a tech company. We like that stuff. We like seeing that they have updates. They like seeing what's on there. So there is a great benefit of just being involved and invested in having these sites. One thing to remember, it's not about having your personal LinkedIn site. It's about having your agency, company LinkedIn. Same thing with Facebook. There are 900 million Facebook users, as we all heard recently. There's 1.8 million businesses using Facebook. The business version of it is very important. Okay, we all have friends, and when you set up your company Facebook, and then you start getting people to like it, that's what is important. Another huge benefit of this is people, you have a right and a valid comment to think, well, we haven't got any business ever from social media. We built our agency, and we all know everyone on the call has a great agency and very successful. So you're right. But unlike things that are kind of fads, this one's kind of here to stay. It's not going away. It's not an immediate fad. And you're not going to, necessarily lose business by not doing on this stuff. But if we're working on impression, we're working on brand recognition, working on those different aspects that do pay dividends, it is worth understanding that maybe one or two of these things, even if it's just one. I would rather you do one Facebook company page and do it to an extent and keep it up to date and do the rule of 80 like I'm going to talk about, rather than 4 or 5 of them that never gets updated. Okay, so the other big aspect to consider on this is that SEO. Tying back to why I did this after SEO. When you have a Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter page, there is a very clear connection between that and, again, that popularity contest and that schmoozing Mr. Google. Because once you get 80 likes, or in LinkedIn, 80 business connections, or on Twitter, it's called followers. Once you get to 80, that gets you on the radar, and that gets you the gold stars from Google. If you only got 30 people on your Facebook site, then there's really not a whole lot of benefit other than having that icon on your website. You get great benefit of having people on there and getting the search engine benefits of having 80 and above. That's the benchmark. Once you get that, that's why when we work with people, we say, all right, let's develop these things, get them started, but we're going to send emails until we get 80 followers or likes or whatever the case is, how relevant. Because at that point, it starts working for you. So if you take nothing else on this, look at your Facebook or LinkedIn and make sure you have 80. If you don't, then figure out some way, emails, contest, some action to get 80 participants on your thing. That's the golden number. And that's one of the biggest things that we learn and definitely want to share with people. So make sure the purpose is there. And then again, we talked about it, but once you have people visiting and you get great content and you have updates, then adding it in an efficient way, making it easy on yourself is the only way I feel most of us are going to use this stuff. Having a system or having a vendor out there, and there's a number of them out there we can suggest to you, where you add a post and it automatically feeds, kind of like Amanda talked about with the Constant Contact. It has a push feature that will automatically, you send an email and it says, hey, would you like to share this thing automatically on LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Twitter, your blog, That is what's so great about the new age of all the social media, is everyone popping up realizing if you had to do all this stuff by yourself and go log into 5 different places, it's dramatically going to reduce how many people update their stuff more than once every couple months. So it is easier. Having folks like us that can write the content, help it with you, use your resources to your advantage, keep all this stuff posted. Us being in the benefits world, of course, help with that when we work with folks. We utilize the resources that you have in front of you, so the great content automatically shared, but then also making that with a mix of what you guys do as an agency. So you have a healthcare reform or a compliance update that automatically goes out once or twice a month. We'll set that up, but then we'll be communicating with you once or twice a month saying, hey, is there anything coming up for your agency? Give us a little blurb, we'll write it up and post it to all your internet marketing channels. So a great mix of that, it works really well. And don't forget, on these things, don't feel like you need to have it to where it's just like one person is in charge of that. Most of us are not going to have one person on that. If you do, that's really good. But I know if our agent, Amanda posts things and I post things, you can have more than one person on your agency. Jim, Sandy, Jared, that multiple people work for us. They have different things that they're passionate about and working on. Have them maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months. Somebody say, for us on a staff meeting, we simply say, all right, whose week is it to go find some good, helpful content, make sure it gets posted so it's kept up to date. That's a suggestion of maybe where to start if you wanted to get more than just one person involved with keeping this stuff up to date. If you're already gathered for a staff meeting, making sure you have a good tool to put it one place and it automatically pushes them. Say, hey, who's working on something cool that our clients might want to benefit from? Has anybody seen something come across? And all these newsletters we're all subscribed to and feeds. Hey, grab that, put it on there, and now you have consistent. And that every week is very, very possible if you look at it that way. And we like to help people get organized that way. So that basically, develop a strategy, start with those baby steps. But more importantly, it's just like we all know as business people and business owners, once you commit to doing something, that's the biggest thing. Is not having it sitting on your back plate, the back burner, knowing I really need to get my website up done. I really need to get that Facebook set up the right way. We know how that stuff festers, and it's something that people stress about. Clearly, we're here to help, or take this, and whoever helps you with the website, use this as maybe a starting block of getting started with that thing. And then, of course, more importantly, do those baby steps. Start with your website. Make sure you can track it. If and even if you don't follow through with all the Facebook and all that stuff, it's important to have that because you're probably doing other things, direct marketing. You got these webinar series. You got emails. You might be sponsoring a golf tournament. You're at a NAHU event. You're swapping business cards. All this stuff benefits everything you do. Having your website manage all this good stuff for you. So, and after that, figure out what channels. Don't get bogged down with all these emails saying you have to do StumbleUpon. You have to do, whatever it is. There's always going to be things coming out there to get a piece of your time and energy. No, until you really rock it, do the big. Worry about Google. Worry about Facebook and LinkedIn. Get a blog. Do the big ones. And then if you really get those done and you get help and you can say, hey, you know what, Jeff, we got this going. We'd really like to get a QR code so we can have that cute little square thing that's on our business cards. That's the kind of thought on there. When you've consistently done main things, that gets you fired up and you can add more resources to it once you get fired up about it. And you feel good about it. You know that what you do, people are going to land on a really good website or a really good logo or a Facebook that matches, that kind of stuff. So get the right people, get the help, get your team engaged. Making sure people understand the purpose is the biggest part of that. Okay? So obviously, get it handled, find help wherever that might be, or take those baby steps to get you set up to maybe it's 3 months from now before you actually get started on an internet marketing strategy because you're working on your site. But get those things done. You really find benefits from it, and you'll feel good about it. And it won't be. And when people ask you, "Are you guys doing anything with Facebook?" Say, "Yeah, we have a strategy. Our purpose is we had to get to 80, and after that, we know we get real good benefit from it, and it gives us an outlet to tell people about what we do." So, giving you a confident, be on that. That's obviously our goal, is to be the backstage folks on that one. So I'm going to go ahead and hit stop on this.